Okay, so before the event listening part, I just want to add the contact part so that you guys don't get confused how to write a contract. You just have to go open Zeppelin Wizard in the search, go here. I already opened it here, but my voice was not recorded in the previous video, so I am just recording it again. We don't need the permit stuff, we just need the mint function, and it already has the event which we will be listening, which is from the OpenZeppelin contract itself, because we are using the ERC20 of the OpenZeppelin. It already has all the events and the whole architecture. We are just trying to implement our own version like my token. You can just do that, and once done you can just open it in the remix. Once it is opened, it will show you the contract. You just have to go there, and for deployment just create inject provider. It will try to pop up the metamask, but if your wallet is already connected, since I am already using remix, so my wallet is already connected and I just try to reconnect it. It will just refresh it and show my balance. Okay, once you do that, just copy the address because it requires your address in the constructor. You can just do that, or maybe if you don't want to do that, you can just do this and try to write message.sender. This will also do the thing which you can just hit deploy, and we'll try to open the this metamask pop-up and confirm, and it will just show you the transaction hash for the contract here. So I have already deployed my contract, so I will not be deploying it again, but I'll show you what kind of contract will show it here. So let's just try to deploy in the local chain. It will be the same process for this, but just confirmation will be from the metamask. Okay, so you want to just hit the transaction on the chain, that's why it is giving you the pop-up. So once you hit deploy, after the transaction is confirmed on the metamask, the address will be given here, and you can just copy the address and paste it in the env in the next video part, which is in development. So this is related to the contract. It's all about event listening. So let's just open this event subscription. So when you write a smart contract, you have some events in the contract like transfer event, or maybe you can just create a custom event that after this function we just emit the event at the end of the function. I will show you in that event in the bit. So let's just try to see how it works. Okay, so one thing is that uh, once the function runs at the end, the event is triggered. So we can just listen to that event and perform certain action based on that event. Like if on a front end app, when you try to hit a transaction, you just put the status pending and you have to wait maybe 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. If the network is busy, maybe 40 seconds. So the user cannot do any other stuff because you are managing transaction on the front end. You have to wait for the transaction to confirm, then you can show your user action. Okay, so this transaction is confirmed, and you just put a toast or maybe a card like, okay, the transaction, your transaction is being successful, now you can process further. So this scenario will help you uh, tackle that waiting stuff. Like when you just try to put a transaction on the chain, you can just put the status of the transaction for the user to be pending, and tell the user, okay, you can perform any other action. And once the transaction is confirmed, the event will trigger, and it will try to show you that, okay, then after the event is confirmed, the event listener will have some logic like, okay, the pending status transition, you can just change it to confirm and show the user, okay, transition is confirmed. What uh, will that do is like, once your transaction has been run, you will get transaction hash. So on the event, it will also contain the transaction hash. So you can do that is store the transaction hash in the database, and then on event listener you can just uh, get the transaction hash of the event and just try to find it in the database. And once if the transaction matches, you can just update the status from pending to confirm. So that will be the use case. So here we have some a basic example like import web3 from web3.js, then you can just use the WebSocket URL of your Alchemy or any other URL. Then you can just try to write the contract, which is like creating an instance of the contract, then subscribe to the event. Okay, so this will have some change implementation from my side because I don't think this code really works. I have tried to put it but I couldn't do it, so I will just try to put something else. Okay, so once we start the project, you can just create a simple repository, then try to just write a command npm init. This will just create a package.json. I have already created just this. Nothing else has been made yet. Okay, so I will just try to write module because I like using the import. I will show you what I mean by there. So nothing is in the index.js. You can just create a simple index.js, and then you can just install npm install web3.env is required. Okay, so I am using a specific version because I don't want any bugs in the code. So I am just using 4.9.0, which I have used in many projects. So just the this version, maybe the latest version has some bugs, so that's why. .env you can use any version, so I'm just writing .env. And we may need one more thing, I guess it's web3 provider ws listener. Yes, this one, maybe this one, yes. Okay, so this is the package which we require also. Just copy this, we will see. Just hit it, enter, then after that we can just try to install this. Once it is installed, we will just try to install the ws provider one also. After that we can just try to install that, and we can just simply start working on the contract and stuff. Just hit enter. Okay, so this is installed. Now we will just try starting from the contract side. Okay, I am not gonna show you how to deploy contract. I have already created one video related to that, but if you just want to check this listener, you can just try to go, and I will show you how you can do. Just go to open zeppelin wizard. Once you go to open zeppelin wizard, just contract wizard, you can just create a simple contract. I have deployed a ERC20. You can just try to copy Mintable. Permit is not required. Just open the remix, and once it is opened, you can just try to connect. Okay, so this just show the contract. You can just go here, inject provider. This will just ask for your permission to inject your MetaMask. Just put the password, and once the your wallet is connected, it will show your balance. Currently it is not fetching, it will take some time, but it will show your testnet faucet balance. And then you can just put your address here and deploy. Once the contract is deployed, you will get address here. You can just copy the address, and okay, so just remove this. You can just copy the address and just go here and create a .env file. And in that .env file, what we can do is just write the contract dash address. Okay, I will write like this, contract address. And I have already created a repo for it in on my GitHub. So I will be sharing with you guys the repo. So I will just take the contract address from here. Okay, so this is will be the contract address, and after that you can just have the RPC URL like from Polygon MOI, you can just go and sign in the Polygon MOI, just create your dApp. I have already shared how to create in the previous video, so you can just do the same thing, and you have to not copy the HTTP one, select the WSS one. Okay, let me show you that also. You will be signed in. Okay, so I already have signed in, so I guess it won't ask for the sign up. Maybe it is asking, I don't know why, but it shouldn't ask because I already have signed in. So let's just see. Okay, so just go to the main URL. You can just go here and create a dApp and just name it. I will show you again. Put name and create. After that you will get something like this. If you don't have anything, it will show you only one of the name you have put it in. So you just go here, network, then I am using Polygon, so select the MOI testnet and then WebSocket. Just copy this and you are good to go. Maybe you can copy this. I already have provided this. You can just put, if you have copied this, then you can just paste it after API. Oh, slash, just replace the API key with that. So that will be it. Okay, so after that you can just do that, but I will, once I already have that thing, so let's just go here. I guess I already, okay, so maybe not this. Okay, I will just try to put my RPC here in a while, but let's just try to create the main thing. Okay, so I already have this address. I will just go to the MOIRPC. You can just search the address. I already have created the my token. You just copy this, and I will be just constant in it here, constant ABI, then just paste it. It is a long string, but for now it will work. That we just need to import Web3 from Web3. Okay, so I was talking like this. Once you type the package.json type module, you can just import module like this. If you have not typed that, I guess you will have to do something like this: constant Web3 and just require. This is some kind of syntax which I don't like this. You will have to import it like this one, but since I already have put the type module, I don't have to do that. I can just simply import it like a normal React application would do. Okay, so we need Web3, and we also have installed Web3 socket, WebSocket provider from the Web3. This one, let's just check if this works. Okay, so it is already imported. Now we need to import one more thing, which is import.env. From .env, and this one more thing, .env.config, so that my import variable works. And once we do that, we can just try to go and write the function. Okay, so the event which I will be listening to is transfer. So we just write constant, try to get a function start event listener, which will be an async event. It will take chain to which we want to connect, and then WebSocket endpoint and contract address. So okay, this will take this three, then we can just initialize the provider, which will be our WebSocket provider. in this we can just write the okay, so we will be using this function at the end and try to pass the env. Already have replaced my env, and like alchemy URL I have pasted it myself, so you can just do that. And once it is done, you can just try to continue. You can just write config. No, we just need client config here. Client client engine. No, we don't need client engine. We need client config. Client config, and we just write keep alive true, and the interval will be 6 seconds. Interval will be 6 seconds. You can adjust it, but I will be using this reconnect auto true, and delay will be 5 seconds. And you can just put max attempts, which would be 10 seconds. And once you do that, you can just try to create a check on provider. If it's connected, connect, then you have to put a callback here. Callback is just like when some function run, you have to do this. So once it run, it is on the listening to the WebSocket which we will pass. It will just console that connected to the chain. Okay, so we will just be using backticks so that our variable passed on top will come here. So we are just listening to the okay, so I guess I will copy this and try to so that I don't get any errors, and just write WebSocket provider here. Once you do that, and then we are going forward, and provider dot on, then you can just put provider dot on error. You can just show error. You can just create another callback. Sometimes the intelligence work good, sometimes it doesn't, but it is what it is. You can just throw an error. So WebSocket error. WebSocket error. My keyboard has some issues with the back. Uh, the home key, the arrow key actually, it is not going on the left side, so I have to click. So just write error, and you can just now create a constant web3. Try to write, you have to create an instance of web3. You will just pass it the provider which is already defined on top. Then you can just initialize the contract here like web3 dot uth dot contract dot contract, this C is capital, then pass in the ABI which it already have created a constant, and then just write contract address. It will initialize the contract instance here, and after that you can just write await and subscribe to event. Subscribe to event. Okay, so for that we need to create a new function, subscribe to event. So we will just be waiting here. you can just create another function, subscribe to event, subscribe to event. Okay, so this will also be an async function. This will also be an async function which will take chain, contract, and event name. So this will just take contract event name and then just create con subscription equals to await contract dot events, and you can just pass in the event name and then just try to listen to the event. Okay, so it will be passed like this. So once we have the contact.events, it will try to check on all event, but you can just try to listen on the specific event which you want. You can just pass two events here in the array and it will work, but you will have to modify this a little. So now we are just trying to pass the one event. Maybe you can just uh, call the function two time here, like for transfer event and for some other event, and it will try to run on both event and just console here. Or maybe you have written some condition like put it in the database and you can check the DB and try to connect the DB to the front end, and you can just try to show the user, okay, the transaction is ending and now it will reflect after a few times, like after a minute or so. So once you do that, then you can just correct subscription dot on connected and just try to create subscription ID. Yeah, it will just try to create any subscription ID and create a callback here. Callback, just write console.log use backticks and then just write, okay, so chain ERC20 contract and then the event name, so that you can see it in the console, and then the subs ID, which will be, which can be the subscription ID. So it will just try to console that, okay, the chain ERC chain is connected, like the chain name which will be passing on, and then the event name and the subscription ID on which event, like each event in the contract has some ID like 0x74. So you can just search the Google about the how each event is compiled and has a unique ID. So you will get something like 0x77 or something like that. Like it starts from 0x and has some hash value which is a unique to every name in the contract, not on the chain, just on the contract. It has some unique numbers. So once you do that, you can just try to write subscription dot on data. You can just get some data which will be an event, and then you can just write a callback console.log use tactics, then try to write ERC20, then just try to console the data. Okay, so I will be using json.stringify the event here. Okay, so for this, maybe it causes some issue which I already faced, and the issue was that the chain just tried to represent some big ends which cannot be converted to JSON directly. So you have to do something like this: begin dot prototype and just create a function. By the way, I already have tested this. That is why I am just recording it again in the video to show you how it works and just trying to explain line by line the code. I'm just writing it again also just to explain that what each line does and why would you want to use it. So okay, so I guess it doesn't require anything. We can just try to, okay, so we have to use dot to JSON begin dot prototype. It will just convert the event to the JSON, something like this, and you can just return the this dot to string. So now I guess it won't cause any issue. Once this is done, you can just try to uh, put that in here. So you just put that in here and try to write like this: await. You just copy the name of this and just try to paste it here. Okay, so it requires chain, it requires contract address, contract. Okay, so now not contract address, just the contract itself, the instance of the contract, and the event name, which will be transfer in my case. So let me just go back and write transfer. So okay, this will be it from the subscription, and there is also some other stuff which will be in the code, like on error and on change or on something else. You can just uh, try to do that once I share the repo. It will be in the description, but you can just check that on. So now we just start the event lister function on the top. We don't have to write on. So okay, we just write the, we have to pass the chain name. So I have written chain, but we have to pass just a string like polygon my. It will be listening on polygon my. Then we can just write process dot env dot rpc underscore url, and then it required process dot env dot contract address. So once you do that, you just check if it is running, or maybe it give me an error and I will try to fix it. Or I cannot be invoked the, okay, so we have some error here. This put a new keyword also here and try to run it again. Okay, so it is running. Okay, so once I told you that there is a subscription ID unique to the event on the chain for this specific contract which we have connected. So it is giving me this ID which will be unique for this subscription ID, not on every subscription ID. So every time you run, I guess it will just provide a different subscription ID, not on the contract itself, I guess, because what I have run it before and it has given me some 0x70. Maybe I'm wrong, but you can just try to verify it. Okay, so we just have to go on the contract. You can just go to the contract or maybe the remix one, just try to run transition. So since I already have verified this contract, you can also use this contract to check the event listener. Just try to connect that here. I will using the MetaMask extension. So just confirm it, and once it is confirmed, you can just try to mint Okay, so write function we have to do. In the write function we just connect the MetaMask and just try to put the address. Why it is showing the address? Okay, just paste the address, and since it requires decimals, I will just be putting a random big number and just hit the contract. Oh, okay, so I am just minting the token to the contract, which is not a good case, but I just want to show you that the email listener is working. I will just hit it confirm and do the transaction. Okay, so this is the transaction ID which we are having. So you can just try to remember like 0x90DD4FC. If this transaction is confirmed, we will just get the result here also. So once the transaction is confirmed, it will directly deflect here, like it will console the event, whole event here, the transfer event which I use. So we just have to wait for a few seconds, maybe a minute. It depends on the network. Polygon is fast, but sometimes the network gas fee is too high, like it is taking 0. A little too less amount. Maybe if the network is not working properly, maybe it can ask for one matic, which is a lot considering the Polygon is cheap. But it depends on the contract itself also. So we have to wait. Okay, the transaction has been confirmed. We can just, okay, you can see that the event is triggered, and we can just see the transaction hash. Okay, so this is the transaction hash which we was. If we copy this and just go here, okay, so this is already given. Maybe you guys don't believe me, I will just go there and just try to paste the transaction hash here. And once you check, okay, so that transaction hash which we copied shows us this. It shows that we have minted this amount, like it is 12 120. I guess it is 1.2 million. I guess 1.2 million token has been minted to this address. We can just go here, and uh, if I go here, you can check it that this is my token, and the latest transaction has been performed 58 seconds ago, and you are also listening to the event here. So this is the event which I was talking about. Like you can just try to confirm the transaction from here, like you just put your condition here, update the DV, and you can just try to write the code here to update the status, and just show the user that the code, no, not the code, just the transaction has been successfully completed, and you can perform uh, check, because user is already performing other actions. You don't have to wait for the transaction hash on the front end side. And because you cannot use Ethereum on the back end, like the MetaMask on the back end, which does not give Windowed or Ethereum on the back end, so you have to do something like this for the back end to perform the action statuses. So this is it